Hello, everyone. Today we are talking about Leo season. Yes, the switch over from Cancer into Leo, from water into fire. I'm very excited to be here with Nicola again to talk about this new season that's coming in. I hope you all are excited to get into this, to experience the magic, the power, the majesty of Leo. We're going to break it down for you today. We're going to talk about our favorite things. We're going to talk about the low expression, the high expression, how to understand what Leo is doing in your personal chart. We'll give examples from our own lives. And there is one very big, very important transit happening this Leo season that you do not want to ignore. So let's get into it. Welcome, Nicola. So happy that you're here.
Thank you. Always love being on the show. It is so much fun, our conversations where we welcome in the new season, the
I know,
new.
I love it. I love this like monthly cadence of, being very intentional about how we look forward to the next season. Because, the months are, pretty arbitrary. Like what is January, what is February, but the zodiac seasons are there for with a purpose for a reason. It wasn't just some pope somewhere that decided it was going to be these dates. It's the movement of the planets. So I'm really excited to dial in to this fiery season. I guess my first question, should we start off with favorite things? Like, or maybe we should do an intro. Let's start with an intro to Leo. Like, what is Leo energy all about? What does it mean to you?
Well, I think Leo is this really big energy in the year. And it's hard to even introduce it without talking about your favorite things. So I think I'm just going to mush them all together.
Oh, do it. Yes.
Because like you've already said, this is a fire sign, so it's a very different energy to Cancer. And Leo is this, it, in the Northern Hemisphere, it's like summer now, we're in the middle of
Hmm.
summer. And it really is this light, playful, heart-centered energy that really embodies courage and I think confidence as well. Like I really like there's such a big theme with confidence. And I think what I really love about Leo energy is this sense of optimism and enthusiasm that it brings to the table. I think especially when, we're talking about business, ownership, like running businesses,
Hmm.
entrepreneurship, like, that can be very challenging. And when we bring in the sense of possibility that I think Leo really embodies, like we get to, make more courageous choices. We get to like do harder things because we just have this can do kind of attitude. When it comes to Leo, like
Hmm.
every sign has an I am statement. And Leo's is I will. And it's this real sense of like determination and devotion. And I think it's accessed through this lightheartedness, this playfulness, this heart-centered leadership, this sense of confidence. It's like just like the sense of belief. And I think that is what we need
Hmm.
when we are putting our stake in the ground as a business owner and we're putting something out there. Like we need to have a sense of faith and belief. And, Leo
Yes.
is associated with the sun. So this is this very spiritual nuance to Leo energy. And I think it does come down to like the sense of belief as well.
Hmm. Oh, I totally agree. I think that Leo is just such a brilliant mix of, like you said, optimism and this kind of childlike playfulness, this
Mhm.
willingness to try things, but also this like very strong, powerful, courageous side. It's like, yeah, I'm willing to try stuff and I'm willing to put myself out there and I'm willing to go for it. I love that I am statement, that I will. That is just brilliant. I was just listening this morning to the Aspire podcast where Emma Grede was interviewing Mark Cuban. They were both on Shark Tank, so some of you may know them from that. Both self-made, very successful business people. And Mark Cuban was saying exactly that. It's like, how do you know that an entrepreneur is going to succeed? And he's like, confidence, and belief in what they're doing. It's their conviction. And I fully agree. Like when I talk about the confidence equation that I created, which if anyone wants to go back and listen to that previous episode, I want to say, let me double check. It's episode 33. So if you go back and listen to episode 33, you'll hear about the confidence equation. Conviction is number one. And I think this is a wonderful invitation that we have in Leo season to, like you said, believe, to be optimistic, to be hopeful, to be open to what's possible, but ultimately to have that conviction and to believe like in what we're doing. And if we don't believe in what we're doing, it's kind of hard to be courageous when you don't really believe like you're headed in the right direction, right? It's hard to be brave. It's hard to go for it. So yeah, Leo is going to be such an interesting season for all of us because it is that lighting that fire within. I love how you reminded us that Leo is ruled by the sun. I love to look at the ruling planet because the ruling planet, you know, or luminary in this case, always gives you a good sense for what that sign is about. And that's the sun. You know, think about the sun in the sky. It's giving life. It's giving warmth. It's shining. It's so, you know, with the sun, we can see clearly. So in Leo season, we're being invited to see ourselves more clearly, perhaps, to see our actions more clearly, to make sure that we're, you know, doing the things that are in alignment with our path, and ultimately to do it in a courageous way. I want to ask you about this whole playful side of Leo. How would you describe that, and how can people like tap into this? Because I think when people think of the lion, they think of this mad, majestic, you know, strong, courageous, fierce energy, which is true. But then Leo has this like really playful side. So yeah, how do you see that?
Yeah, well, I think a really good way to demonstrate these kind of two very different sides of Leo is to look at the tarot cards that we often associate with this energy.
Mm-hmm.
And for people who are listening, we are looking
Yes.
at the Sun card and the Strength card. And I think
Yes.
the Strength card kind of shows that like brave, courageous, heart-centered leadership.
Yes.
And
Can you
then this
describe it for people who can't see it? Yeah.
it's often depicted as a woman with a lion, and it's got like yellow in it, which is very much related to that optimism.
Mhm.
And the lion is just sitting there in its majesty. It's got this kind of gentle, powerful presence. And I
Mhm.
think that is actually a big part of that energy. It's like really being present to life.
Yes.
So it's a beautiful card. And then another kind of aspect of this energy is the sun card, which is much more of what you were just talking about with the playfulness.
Hmm.
And it's got a lot of yellow. So when we're thinking of the some symbolism of the color, it's very positive and optimistic. But it's got a child riding a horse, the one I'm looking at here. And
Hmm.
it kind of brings in that whole idea of that childlike wonder and innocence, like this
Yes.
sense of innocence. And I think that is what we're talking about with playfulness, especially related to entrepreneurship, is are we willing to be seen in our full humanness, which means not being perfect, like in our imperfection and seeing how beautiful and perfect our imperfection is.
Yes. Yes. Hmm.
Um, and yeah, just that kind of like that childlike wonder, being willing to play and try things out, and just, I think, access the joy of life. Like we can get so serious, but it's like the biggest question I think we can ask ourselves, like when we're thinking about Leo, is like, are we having fun?
Yes.
Because if we're not, what is the point, really? Like,
What is the point?
can we not
Yeah.
have fun with our mission? I think
Hmm.
that is such a way of accessing like lightness and playfulness and creativity, like really being fired up. I think Leo, when you're thinking about like action, it's all about passion, not about pressure.
Yes. Ooh, I love that about passion rather than rather than pressure. I love that so much. And you know, even if you take your work very seriously, which you should, and we all do here at Cosmic Queen, we take our work very seriously, but we also should be serious about the passion, should be serious about the play, and serious about the fun. I love this so much. You know, this is why a lot of people end up burning out when they're burnt out on pleasure and passion. They're not feeling the pleasure and passion for what they do, and yes, life is very serious. And yes, very serious, difficult things are happening around us and happening to us. And if there's not that spark of joy and love for what we're spending our time doing, like you're right, it's not sustainable.
Exactly. And Leo is a fixed sign. So it's like almost like this indistinguishable fire. So
Mhm.
how do we have that? I think it is about, more of a pull energy, more of a magnetism. And Leo is super magnetic.
Oh,
And
yes.
it is about like, making sure like we can sustain our life force energy by tapping into the things that really fuel us and fire us up and make us feel like the joys of life.
Yes, yes. Oh, I love it so much. I love it. I love that Leo comes at this time of the year in the northern hemisphere, that summertime. So a lot of us are, already on vacation perhaps when you're listening to this. I hope you're on the beach somewhere with a margarita in your hand. I will be soon. But it's a little bit of a slowdown. Even if you're working, there's still this kind of summer feeling in the air of this slowdown and this reset time that we get to have too. It's like if you want to show up really big, if you want to be visible and bold as Leo does, then you have to have your fuel in the tank. You have to refuel. And so summer is a great time to do that. Now, in summer, we do have, I think I kind of want to jump into talking about retrogrades because we'll come back to the low and the high expression, but this feeds nicely into what we're talking about, like being bold, but also like checking in with yourself and where you're at with your pleasure and passion. Ah, summer. Yes, the time when we sit back, we start to go into deep relaxation and we review and reset. This is when we start to get, we step back and we get this big picture of what's going on, right? Well, we have a special summer sale on here at Cosmic Queen. It's called the Summer of Stars. This is for anyone who has been wanting to really study, who has been wanting to not just kind of know some tips and tricks here and there, some insights here and there about their astrology and human design, but who's actually ready to learn the systems for themselves and to get into a fantastic community in order to support them as they do their personal growth with the cosmic insight. So there are 3 offers that are part of the Summer of Stars sale. You get 10% off right now between July 14th and August 22nd of 2025 off of these courses. Number 1, you can study the star. This is my signature astrology course, on-demand video modules plus workbooks and quizzes and bonus videos from fantastic astrologers where you get to actually learn how to read your own birth chart. But not only that, I'm going to help you to figure out how to support others as well. So this is a super empowering astrology course that you have been looking for. So that's the star. That's number 1. Number 2 in this Summer of Stars sale is the design. This is my human design signature course. Also video, also on demand, also including all the workbooks and quizzes and tools that you need in order to further integrate this knowledge. This is how you really read a body graph for empowering yourself and also empowering others. I'm all about practical magic here and applying what we learn. So everything I teach you about astrology or human design in these courses is very much with this eye on the practical of like, okay, but what does this mean for my life? How am I actually going to use this in my relationships? How can I start to craft my business and my brand using this cosmic insight? And then the third offer included is the constellation community. Fresh with a new price, and very soon there will be a new membership platform, which I'm so excited about. So the Constellation community is the fast growing, fantastic community of your dreams where you get to learn cosmic systems, how to apply them to life, business, and relationships, but commune with others at the same time. We meet monthly and we talk about the upcoming zodiac season. I give you all the key dates and the key insights so that you can learn how to harness these energies for yourself. Plus, there's an incredible course vault of over 23 courses and over 10 meditations. I'm always adding to it. We're always having new guests in the group and we're always up-leveling our cosmic empowerment. So if you want to be part of any of these 3 courses or the membership, please do jump in. The summer is a great time to take that step back and invest in yourself and take the time to really study the stars. Now, I'm offering a limited time special bonus for the first 10 people to purchase a course or the membership. For the first 10 people, you get the opportunity to ask me 3 of your burning questions. So this is awesome, right? Because you get to ask the expert, the person who has studied and lived these systems for many years, has used them in her own business. You get to ask about your charts. So anything you want to know, what kind of are the traits of my soulmate? How can I support my kids better with their astrology or human design? What's my personal brand? What's the most magnetic thing about me? The sky's the limit. Ask me your 3 questions, and I would love to send you some recorded audio responses so that you can have that insight to come back to again and again as you take your next steps. All right. As we say around here at Cosmic Queen, we study the stars until we realized we are one. Join us inside. The link is in the show notes. Now back to the episode. So summer is peak retrograde season. It's our time, especially Leo season, if you want the exact dates, it's from July 22nd to August 22nd. Kids are off school, the sun is shining, and, we're ready to relax. And that makes sense because we have all of these retrogrades happening at once. So to name them, currently we have Neptune retrograde, we have Saturn retrograde, we have Pluto retrograde. Chiron's going to go retrograde later in August. And at the time that you're going to be listening to this podcast, we're going to have, what's our last one?
Mercury retrograde in Leo.
In Leo, exactly. So Mercury retrograde in Leo is happening from July 18th to August 11th. So it's always about 3 weeks time that we have every year, and we have about 3 times a year that Mercury goes retrograde. So this is our summer Mercury retrograde, and it is happening in the sign of Leo. It starts off at 15 degrees Leo, and then it's going to move back to 4 degrees Leo. So we're going to have Mercury in Leo for quite a long time. What are your thoughts about Mercury retrograde or Mercury retrograde in Leo? What should our listeners know about or be thinking about?
Well, I think, with any kind of Mercury retrograde, there's always the invitation to pause, reflect, reconnect to whatever themes are being brought up for us. And I think when it comes to Leo, and when we're talking about all this creative energy that is associated with this sign, I think it's like an opportunity for creative recalibration. And I think this can come to the fore in many different ways. Like you were saying, potentially an opportunity for rest because it is a slow down time. And for some of us, we just maybe need a pause and a break. Mm-hmm. But I think it can also look like just revisiting creative projects. Like, is there something that we want to want to revisit, rework? Do we want to look at, our branding, our voice, our messaging, and see if that still is fueling us up and representing us? Because I think Leo, again, also is about self-expression. So is our business representative of who we are now? We are constantly evolving, and maybe we need to reconnect with the things that drive our creativity. It could even look like inner child work, the things that bring us joy, like we were saying. Have we been doing that? Have we been in touch with those little things that that are fun for us? Mm-hmm. And I think a big one for me personally would be really looking at any distortions we have around worthiness, being chosen, being seen. Mm-hmm. Those are quite, I feel, really beautiful places where we can heal and expand and reflect and pause. We need to not be chasing validation outside of ourselves. We need to be seeing ourselves. Mm-hmm. And rewriting stories where we feel like we haven't been chosen, because I think we get to choose ourselves now.
Yes. Oh, and this is the beauty of Leo, is that it's the person who takes the stage. It's the person who says, oh, this is my microphone and this is my spotlight. We talk about Leo sometimes as main character energy, but
Mm.
it's very much, no one has given, like, no one needs to give Leo permission. Like, nobody needs to invite Leo to the stage. Leo's like, oh no, this is my stage in the
Yes.
best way possible. And for some of us, that may be more comfortable, but for a lot of us, that is very uncomfortable. We think we need to wait for permission and validation. We think we need, for people to tell us, yes, you're good at this, congratulations. But with Leo, there is this sense of boldness and confidence to say, yes, I am worthy of this. I am, my skills, my gifts, myself can be appreciated, and I'm good with that.
Yeah, exactly. I think, when we are talking about this analogy of like, main character energy, is like,
Yeah.
you know, where are you too focused on the critics? Where are you chasing the applause? And
Hmm.
these are the things that actually get in the way of like us having a brilliant performance.
Yes. No, it's so true. These are the things that get in the way. And it's like, yes, hone our craft, and we'll get there when we get to Virgo season, the detail, the expertise, the craft. But right now it's about just the boldness to go out there and do it. Just go out there and see what happens. Just go out there. I love how you emphasize also this sense of optimism. Because I think with Mercury retrograde, a lot of times people feel very the opposite of optimistic, right? They're feeling like, oh my God, everything's going to go wrong. Communication, technology, business, relationships are all, being questioned. But there is this sense of playful optimism that Leo has that says, hey, like, so maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I said it wrong. Maybe someone misunderstood me, but I'm just here to review and reset. And that's what I'm going to do. I feel like this Mercury retrograde is not so heavy and serious as sometimes maybe like a Mercury retrograde in Scorpio might feel, or in Virgo. This is more of a lightness to it. It's more of a, hey, just try. Just try it.
It's an opportunity. It's
Yeah.
like I get to recalibrate. I
Yes.
get to reconnect to my creativity. And if like there is something, like you were saying about like, maybe I didn't do something perfectly, it's like just ask like how can I see this in a way that feels lighter? How
Hmm.
can I see this in a way that's more playful? How can I even like potentially laugh about this?
Yes.
Because when we can laugh at ourselves, like
Yes.
we're not so brittle and
Hmm.
we were so much more resilient when we were just able to like hold something a bit more lightly rather than like this fragile ego. Like
Hmm.
that's low expression, Leo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I would agree. That's a great segue. What is low expression, Leo? What does it look like, and how can we be aware if we're in it?
I think low expression, Leo, is when we are performing for others, when we're
Mm.
feeling like we need to put on a show.
Hmm.
And it's not really heart-led, it's not for ourselves. It's like it is a show,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we are dancing, performing, exhausting ourselves,
Hmm.
trying to be this persona,
Yes.
but it doesn't feel true. I think that is low expression. And I also think it's when we are maybe embodying that main character energy, but forgetting that we are only the main character in our own movie. And,
Yeah.
like if we do, I don't know if we've mentioned this yet, but for me, Leo can be very inclusive.
Hmm.
And like the sun shines on everybody.
Yes.
Like it's not deciding like you can feel this my rays, you can be warmed up, you
Yeah.
can have my life force energy. It's like we're all can bask in this.
Yeah.
And I think Leo at its best, remember, is very inclusive. It's like you're all invited to the party.
Yes.
In
They
fact,
want the
all of
team to win. They want the team to win. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. It's that kind of leadership. And it's not only like you all, it's like all of me is invited to the party. Like I'm not like banishing certain parts, not hiding from certain parts, repressing certain parts of myself. It's like we're all invited. I'm all invited. Very inclusive. And I remember that we're all valid. It's not just the me show.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
like this balance.
I think
Yeah.
that is so, so true. Like, it's so funny because, like, people will make fun of Leo, talking about the low expression being, yeah, someone who's arrogant or egotistical. And that can be true, as you said, because of the brittleness of the fragile ego when you're performing for, like validation from others, right? That's where we get that kind of thing happening. But then when you're performing because for the love of it, right? It's like for the love of the game, for the love of what you do and for yourself, it's completely different. Like the fear of judgment falls away and you're able to just kind of shine in your own authenticity. So the high expression of Leo, how would you describe that?
But I think we actually mentioned a lot of high expression traits.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Kind of like reiterate, it is that inclusivity, it is that optimism, it is that heart-centered leadership, it is courage, it is being able to like step up and be seen, but not needing then the applause. It's like you're putting yourself out there, but you're not waiting for the claps. Like
Yeah.
it's just finding the joy in the doing of it,
Yes.
the act of it. It's like singing in the shower and you just pure joy. You don't care what it sounds like. You just know you're having the best time doing it.
Hmm.
It doesn't need to be perfect.
Yes, exactly. It doesn't need to be perfect. And just because someone else didn't like it doesn't mean it ruins your day, right?
Oh,
I love
yes.
it. Yeah. Like when I see someone who is like Leo rising or Leo midheaven and they're really in their power, that gregariousness, that I always think of it as the hostess with the mostest. It's the person who is having a great time in life and they want everyone else to be having a great time too. It's
Yes.
not like, oh, if you're not having a great time, I'm not having a great time. It's like, no, I'm having a great time and you're invited to my party. I think that is just high expression Leo all the way. And I would love to welcome more of that energy into my life, I know. So let's talk about how can people personalize this and where is Leo in your chart? We'll give our examples so that people can kind of start to understand where in their life this Leo energy is showing up and how they can tap into it personally.
Yeah. So for me, I have Leo intercepted in my first house.
Okay,
So
yes.
this is an interesting placement. So
Yes.
no planets,
Yeah.
nothing there, and it's not ruling a house, but it's like fully in my first house.
Right. So intercepted, yeah, just so for people who don't understand what that means, means that the sign, well, this happens when we're using the Placidus house system, which Nicola and I both prefer to use. We feel it's more accurate. But it means that, yeah, the sign is contained within the house. So the house will start with would start with, now I'm thinking like going counterclockwise. So the house would start with Cancer and finish with Virgo, and then Leo is kind of sandwiched in the middle of the house, right? And what
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
what that
So
means is it could be harder to express for you.
exactly. So I'm Cancer rising, Virgo rules my second house, and then I've got this Leo like contained in my first house. And I think the important thing to look at with intercepted signs is not that energy does not exist in your chart. It's kind of just like what Rachel was saying, it's potentially more complicated to access. And I actually think for me, like it's a big subconscious part of my identity because
Mm,
first house really is about like our identity. And it's so interesting having this placement for me because it's like it's a very subconscious part of me.
mhm.
And I think it really demonstrates that if we have these intercepted signs, like when we consciously work with the energy, these things can become our superpowers. Because we've had to consciously engage with these latent kind of hidden, urges and
Yeah.
energies that we have. And I think about it for myself, like how I would have played out, as in my, I think these things often play out like in our younger formative years,
Hmm.
being like a second child and having like an older sibling who was the one who was the very much the performer,
Yes.
like me kind of like staying a bit hidden in their light and not needing to put myself out there as socially in those kind of situations and not also needing to fall under the pressure of performance either for my parents, because
Hmm.
that very much falls under like first child.
Oh, that's a first child thing. Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, they
I
want to be
can
like
attest to
perfect
that.
and everything,
Yeah.
right? And then the second child comes along, doesn't care, breaks all the rules.
Yeah, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, not trying to impress or please at all,
Yeah.
right? And for me, it's been very much about like, I think, struggles with like feeling seen and, you know, and really having to work. And it's funny because when we look at placements in the charts, it's not just one placement that tells a story. I think there's so many other little clues in your chart that tells the same story that leads to the same little,
Yes.
little soul path. Um, so it's very, yeah, it's very interesting. But for me, it's really been around like, recognizing myself, not having to, yeah, be feeling
Being
like,
something you're not, or like perform in a way that's not you.
yeah, and just like having things where I haven't felt seen, or and that's been like a challenge for me and being like really like, well, you have got it all in you and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's yeah, and that just yeah, as we come into adulthood, often these things like get to play out, like
Yes, exactly. And we have these, that's why I love doing these podcasts with you, because we also have these like reminders, one time every year where we get to actually kind of dive into that energy and kind of immerse ourselves a little bit more intentionally. Because, like you said, a lot of us have, these signs are kind of subconsciously there for us in the background. But if we don't have planets there, if it's intercepted in our chart, or maybe it's in the 12th house, we're not fully experiencing or expressing it every day. And so when the sun shines on this part of your chart, it's a great opportunity to lean in.
yeah,
So
exactly. What about you, Rachel?
yes. So where I have Leo in my chart, Leo is in my sixth house. And this is like a part of my chart that I ignore a lot as well. So this is the sixth house is health and lifestyle. And I mean, I love a lifestyle blog. I love to think about lifestyle changes and like house and routine and things like that. But when it comes to like the body and health and like physical stuff, I'm much more at home in the mental and emotional realm, right? I'm much more, I want to study psychology. I love learning things. I'm very like, heady. I have all this air sign energy. So when it's like, oh no, but we actually need to like, how are we going to eat healthy? Are we exercising our body? Those are the things I don't spend as much time focused on. And so remembering that I have Leo there is interesting because that means that, okay, the way that I'm meant to run my daily life, have my routine, set my routines, and the way I'm meant to take care of my body is in a Leo way. So it's actually about having fun. Yeah, it's about being more playful with it. It's about being also courageous and being willing to be seen, maybe as well. So there's things, in the sixth house that I very much ignore that I'm excited to not ignore this this Leo season. I've already scheduled in. I'm going to look up and do some research on. I was telling you about this, like a parasite protocol and like detox and all this stuff that I've been thinking about doing for years, but I haven't. So this year I'm taking it seriously. And I hope everyone listening, you're taking it seriously as well. You're looking at where is Leo in your chart? How could you bring more of a sense of play, but also a sense of like courage and boldness in taking this part of your chart, this part of your life, I guess it wouldn't be by the horns, by the mane, and and going after it. So yeah, I'm
How are
excited.
you going to make the Parasite Protocol fun?
Yeah, I don't know, but I will let you guys know. I'm gonna make it fun. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna do my research. I have no idea what I'm gonna end up doing.
Maybe it's like, okay, I'm having a party with my
Yeah, with
microbiome,
my microbiome.
and we are going to make this clearing the house thing super
Yes.
fun.
Yes, but maybe it's like, okay, every morning I drink my celery juice and I'm gonna do some like mindful dancing.
Play a
It's like,
song for
yeah,
the
I was
whole
literally
microbiome.
exactly a microbiome. It's like Bill Nye the
But if
Science
you
Guy.
think about it that way, like you're not alone. Like there's
Yeah.
well, millions of little of party friends
Oh
with
yeah,
you.
yeah,
That,
that have been begging for my attention for years. So yes, I need to make this more fun. But there's that's actually a good example. So how do I make this fun? So how do I make like exercise fun and things like that for myself? I had this realization this week that I was thinking about physical exercise and like what do I like and what don't I like, and when I used to work out a lot before having my son, when I was young, single, and free, like what is the way that I preferred. I loved anything with music, and that's very Leo, right? So always everyone look at the sixth house for like how you work out and move your body best, like what works for you. If there's music, this is why I love spin class and dancing. Those are the only two types of working out that I enjoyed. Like going to the gym, hate it, unless I have an amazing playlist, right? Or running, absolutely hate it, even though I was a runner when I was a kid. Swimming, I enjoy swimming, but there's always this sense of like rhythm and dance and play that will, just get me out of my mind. Like I love that. So that's what I need to do more of,
Well,
along
kind
with
of like we were saying, like Leo doesn't love necessarily performing under pressure, but likes to be, passionate about things.
yes,
So,
yes,
like having a carrot
yeah.
for the exercise is going to work so much better for you than having a stick.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Um,
I do not respond well to people yelling at me. Oh, no, 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 no.
yeah. And also, like,
I
I
will not
mean,
do it.
what do you think about like, do you enjoy it more when it's social? Like, would you enjoy
Yes.
exercise more if like you were with friends
Yes,
or
like spin class where you're like also competing against each other, like on the leaderboard, and then there's like Britney Spears like blasting and the latest like techno. Like, oh my God, it's so fun. Yeah, I
because
love that.
Leo is super social, right?
Social. It's true. Dancing, yes. Any club I've ever been in, I have danced on the table. That's a podcast for another time, but either on the stage or the table, I'm always there. So yes, that's very Leo, is it not? Like I will be there. Anyway, so I hope you guys are entertained by this, and I hope you're also inspired by by everything that we've shared with you about Leo. Is there anything that we have missed, Nicola? Anything about working with Leo, starting to tap into this energy for this season?
I think I would just like to kind of finish off by reminding everybody the way we can work with this, and it works, I think, very beautifully with this retrograde energy. So it's a nice time to really
Yes.
tap into it. I think simple question you can just ask yourself every day or when you're sitting down to do anything is like, am I having fun? Such a
Yes.
simple contemplation that can just help you lead a little bit more lightly. And I think if you're really consciously wanting to, like I was saying, work with, being seen and worthiness and taking up space, like for me with my Leo in my first house, I think really it's about seeing ourselves. So if you want to do any kind of mirror work, I think now is a powerful time to just be present with yourself, see yourself, like literally physically by standing in front of a mirror. It's so simple. And you would be maybe not surprised by how uncomfortable that can be when you haven't done it or you haven't done it for a while. Like it's so uncomfortable to just shine our love onto ourselves
Yes.
sometimes, but it can become like just who you are when we practice these things, um, and give ourselves just a simple, loving presence that we are desiring in the world. So I think those are two ways to really work with this in a really beautiful way, I think.
Oh, I love it. This is so good. I would add to that that also, if you were going to build a stage for yourself and your work, what is it that you would, what kind of stage and what would you be saying? Because not all of us are here to, as you said, perform or be seen in the same way. Like, someone else out there listening doesn't need to do it the way I do it, doesn't need to do it the way you do it. Like, we all have our different styles, but what's your style and what's your way of being bold and being seen?
Actually, this is a good time to be looking at your style, your personal style. That's also
Oh,
a
yeah.
light-hearted thing to do. If you want to have a much more light-hearted, maybe you don't want maybe the inner child healing for some. Maybe just look at your personal style if you want to keep it
Yeah. Well, it's
like
all
that's
connected though,
something.
right? Like what would your inner child like to wear today? Like it's all so connected. How we see
Yes, we should be
ourselves.
sharing like little photos of like our child selves' favorite outfits or something.
Yes, yes,
Um,
definitely. As for me, it was like as much sparkle as possible. I wanted to look like a princess. And then for good measure, I'll add in some leopard print because I love leopard print. So
yes.
sparkly leopard print, princess. Yes.
Oh my God, I love it.
Oh, so fun. Oh, I love it. Yes, hearts. Thank you all so much for being with us on this exploration of Leo energy, we're excited for you to, experience this for yourself. Go into it with heart wide open, eyes wide open. And I hope you all have a brilliant Leo season. We will speak to you again when we're ready to get into Virgo season. But if you have a special Leo in your life, of course, don't forget, book a reading for them with Nicola. Give them the birthday gift of their dreams, getting to learn more about themselves and what make this very Leo coded and what makes them the fabulous Leo that they are. So if you'd like to book a reading for yourself or a loved one, please do that with our lovely Nicola. This is a great time and a great gift. You can do human design or astrology or a combination of the two. All of the links, of course, are in the show notes. All right. So from our hearts to yours, I hope you have a brilliant Leo season. Bye.